Hello everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, starseed astrologer and spiritual messenger from sacredsoulempowerment.com. Here to do your weekly angel card reading for Monday, June 8th through Sunday, June 14th, 2020. For this week's weekly reading, we'll be using the Power Angel Tarot deck by Radleigh Valentine for the main message for everyone. And your special message card this week, depending on your stone of choice, will be coming from the Messages from the Light deck by Joyce Huntington. Just a reminder that we are now in the month of June, and this is a powerful month of a lot of changing energies. We have some eclipses going on this month, as well as another eclipse, a third eclipse in the month of July. So you'll want to go back to the monthly angel card reading for June 2020 to get the big overview of the energy for the month, the astrological highlights, as well as messages from our angels and guides. So let's go ahead and start out by taking a look at our stones of choice for this week's reading. The first stone of choice is this beautiful green prehnite. Now, prehnite is a stone of unconditional love, and it's actually considered a stone to heal the healer. So if you're a healer out there of some sort and you need some healing yourself, this would be a great stone to carry with you. The prehnite also enhances precognition and inner knowing, and it enables one to always be prepared. Okay, your second stone of choice is red jasper. The red jasper is a stone of energy, strength, stamina, and spiritual grounding. It helps to stimulate the chi, or the life force, and it also helps with focus and determination. And then your last stone of choice is a beautiful agate. Now, agates come in all various shades of colors. This one happens to be kind of a clear, milky, white kind of agate. And the agate is great for eliminating and transforming negativity. It enhances one's mental function, and it improves concentration. It helps to soothe and calm and bring an inner sense of security. So again, your stones of choice for this week are the prehnite, the red jasper, and the agate. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the astrology for this week. Now, of course, hopefully you watched last week's weekly angel card reading for June 1st through the 7th, because that was when we had our full moon lunar eclipse. And that was tipping off the beginning of some changes and redirections, some endings and new beginnings that are to come in the weeks ahead. So again, we're coming off the tail end of that full moon lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Sagittarius. That was this past weekend. Now, when we move forward into this week, the first thing of significance that's happening is on Thursday, June 11th, when we have the sun, which is in Gemini, and it's challenging Neptune in Pisces. This happens very early Thursday Pacific time. So some of us, most of us, will probably be feeling the effects of this also on Wednesday. So what's the sun challenging or squaring Neptune about? Well, the sun is our identity. It's our ego. It's in Gemini right now, so it's all about thoughts, ideas, communications, our perceptions. And Neptune is a planet that rules the spiritual realm and things that are intangible and unseen. Neptune also rules illusion, confusion, and delusion, and we do have a challenging square aspect here. So I want to say that we're probably going to feel a little bit confused as to what decisions to make if you're trying to make a decision, confused as to your own thoughts or ideas. I feel like they might be just kind of vacillating all over the place, where you might feel 1 minute that this is a great idea or this is the direction I want to go, and then a few minutes later you're going to be thinking, well, maybe I should look at this other, aspect, this other possibility or potential. So it kind of gives us an ungrounded energy, because Gemini, where the sun is considered mutable, and Pisces, where Neptune is also a mutable sign. Mutable means changeable, not grounded, not focused. It's kind of a go with the flow energy. So it does have a positive purpose here. It's just about kind of going with the flow and allowing things and shifting directions, and you're okay with it. And so for this would be a good time for meditation. It's a good time for imagination, or maybe even creative writing. That would be what this challenging square is good for. But other than that, we might feel ungrounded, unfocused. We might feel confused, and maybe a lack of clarity about a direction or a potential decision that we have to make. We're also going to be more physically sensitive. Neptune always kind of brings in a energetic sensitivity. So we might be more energetically sensitive, physically sensitive, mentally and emotionally sensitive to different energies outside of us, from people or from foods or the environment or whatever it might be. Also on Thursday the 11th, Venus in Gemini, and she's right now retrograde in the sign of Gemini. And of course, Venus rules relationships, partnerships. She also rules money and finances, or our personal resources. She's retrograde right now, so we're kind of turning that energy within, and we're dealing with a lot of kind of going over, reevaluating some of our relationships and connections, reevaluating our own thoughts and ideas and beliefs about relationships and connections, as well as about money and finances. She is going to be in a sextile aspect to Chiron, the wounded healer, in Aries. Now, a sextile is an aspect of opportunity, so it's considered a positive connection here. The thing with a sextile, the aspect of opportunity, is that you have to look for the opportunity, you have to recognize it, be aware of it, and then you have to take some sort of action on it in order to make any good use of the energy. So with Venus and Gemini retrograde, sextiling Chiron and Aries, there's a potential here for some sort of healing that can take place. Maybe the healing is within a relationship matter. Maybe the healing is within your financial situation. The healing could be about your own sense of confidence, courage, independence, sense of self, because Chiron is in Aries, which is the sign that rules all of those. But look for the potential of that and then act on it when you see it. And then on Saturday the 13th, Mars, which is the planet of energy, action, and forward movement, which is currently in Pisces. So his fiery momentum, his wanting to move forward with that fiery, action-oriented energy is kind of watered down while he's in Pisces here. And he'll be in Pisces until almost the end of June, and then he'll be going into his home sign of Aries. But for right now, with Mars in Pisces, we're already feeling a little bit maybe physically, maybe more drained, or just not as energetic or not as motivated with that Mars in Pisces. And on Saturday, it connects with Neptune. Neptune, again, also being in Pisces. And Neptune, again, is this elusive kind of spiritual energy. So it's almost an energy that you'll feel even more usurped or lacking within your physical stamina or vitality or energy within. There can also be some confusing situations with Mars and Neptune coming together, so things that are just maybe not making any sense, or again, there's some ungrounded, unfocused energies as far as trying to move forward with something. We may feel a little bit more physically tired with this particular aspect. So again, there's this need to surrender with Pisces energies. And of course, Neptune is about faith and trust. So there's a need to surrender and have faith and trust as you're moving forward with any decisions or projects or things that you're doing in your life. And then on Sunday the 14th, the Sun, still in Gemini, is going to be in what's called an inconjunct aspect, also called a quincunx aspect, to Pluto in Capricorn. Now, Pluto rules power, or power and control. It rules death and rebirth. It rules transformation. It rules transmuting lower energies, rising above them. Pluto just brings a lot of big changes, but with the inconjunct or the quincunx aspect, it's kind of a tricky, unusual kind of connection when you have planets in this aspect, because the signs of the zodiac that the two planets are incompatible, with the sun being an air sign Gemini, which is all about logic and thought and ideas and communication. And then Pluto being an earth sign Capricorn, which is more practical and grounded and dealing with our goals and working, towards something. Those elements of air, Gemini, and earth, Capricorn, are not really the most compatible with one another. So we have to make some adjustments. And with this particular aspect, we may need to make adjustments to our sense of personal power. We may need to make adjustments in regards to how we're thinking about something or how we're gathering information to do something. Even messages and communications that we're involved in. There may need to be some adjustments in order for it to flow a little bit better, to be understood a little bit better. So just know that with Pluto in the mix, we're needing to somehow empower ourselves. So I want to say we need to empower our thoughts. We need to empower our own kind of inner mental workings with our ideas and what we're believing to be true for us. So there's something here about taking back your power, owning your power, adjusting your power in some way to bring about some sort of transformation on a mental body level. Okay, so let's take a look at the messages from our angels and guides, and you'll see that the first card came out as 2. No big surprise there. We're turning over the first one, and we have the King of Gabriel. King of Gabriel. This is like the King of Wands in the traditional tarot. So this is kind of a fire element card. And the message here says generous, inspirational, dramatic, and driven at the top. Those are the key words for the King of Gabriel or the King of Wands. On the bottom here it says, keep your eyes on the big picture. Leave the details to others, experience that leads to success, and genuine concern for others. So the King of Gabriel, the King of Wands, King of Fire, is really a take charge, leadership-oriented, inspirational, creative kind of energy. So these might be qualities that you're exuding in life right now, or that maybe you need to adopt and exude within this particular week for some reason. Again, there's that drive, there's that passion to move forward here. And also, to me, he wants to be in charge of his own creative efforts. He wants to be in charge regarding projects that he's working on. He wants to kind of exude this inspirational, fiery, passionate kind of energy in all that he does. And I like how it says, keep your eyes on the big picture. I feel like that's the key phrase here. Because right now we have the Sun and Venus in Gemini, and Gemini is great with the details, but sometimes loses sight of the big picture. And with the eclipses that are happening this month and the changes that will be forthcoming because of the eclipse energies, I feel like we do need to keep our eyes, our minds, if you will, on the big picture. What's the big goal that you're working towards? What is, the full extent of the project, or on the money matter, or the relationship goal that you're working towards? So keep your eyes, your heart, your mind on what that big picture is all about. And this says, leave the details to others. Now, as I said, Gemini is about details, and we have a lot of Gemini energy, but remember, the Sun is in that difficult aspect to Neptune, so those details are more elusive. Mars is going to be connecting with Neptune this week. So again, there's things that are not easily seen or understood, and there's more of this aspect of faith, trust, and surrender that might be going on here. So leave the details to the universe, your angels and guides, or to other people, and keep your eyes and heart and mind focused on what the big picture is that you want to accomplish or move towards. Let's take a look at the card that came out with it, and hopefully there's additional information here. Okay, another Wands card, another fire card, the 3 of Gabriel. Now the number 3 numerologically is about expansion, growth, creativity, and creative self-expression. So it's about expanding that fire creativity, expanding that inspiration. And it says at the bottom here, prosperity arising from wise planning, time to take the next step, optimistic plans that turn out as expected. So this is a very positive card. The number 3 can be about abundance and prosperity. And whether that's financial or through other types of blessings, the number 3 is just about expansion. So this is saying if you keep your eyes on the big picture, as the King of Gabriel says, and then you make a plan based on what that big picture is, then you're going to see some positive things unfold as a result of it. Take the next step. Optimistic plans that turn out as expected. So again, take whatever little steps that you can towards the goals that you are working towards, no matter what area of your life they are in. And there's definitely some positive energy here that is being shown. I feel like the momentum, perhaps, from that eclipse energy, which was in Sagittarius last weekend. Of course, now we're in the waning phase of the moon, so this is where we need to kind of surrender a little bit, release, let go, heal, transmute, etc. This is a completion phase now that we're in a waning moon. But this is still telling us that if we make a plan and we, take little actions or take little steps, that we're going to get to creating that big picture that we're working towards. Now let's look at this card here, the second card. Okay, Major Arcana number 20, New Beginnings, with Archangel Jeremiah. Now, Archangel Jeremiah helps us to kind of review the past of where we've come from, where we've been, things we've worked through, etc., in order to move forward in the present moment and into what we might call the future. This particular card is the Judgment card in the traditional tarot. So, of course, it's not really about judgment, like judging ourselves or judging others. It's really, not judge yourself and others, but judgment is also telling us that this is kind of like the way that the universe is relaying energy to us. It's almost like the spiritual judgment of things that you've done in the past and how now that's going to unfold for you in the future. Okay, and it's not that God or universe, spirit is not a judging energy, okay? But this is, kind of like the laws of karma, right? What you give out, what you put out is what you're going to kind of get back or create. So that's kind of what this card is talking about. And it's talking about, of course, in this deck, new beginnings. Now the message at the bottom says, starting a new life, finding your purpose, a forgiving and compassionate review of the past. A forgiving and compassionate review of the past. So again, do not judge yourself or judge others or judge what you've been through. It's all something that your soul went through to learn certain things. And I think of this, those ideas of forgiveness and compassion with the Mars connecting with Neptune and Pisces. And of course, we know Pisces is a sign of unconditional love and compassion and surrender and, that whole idea of just knowing that you're being led in the right direction in the timing that is best for you. And Pisces is a sign of completion, so that we can begin a new energy. So no wonder it's about reviewing the past and getting ready for these new beginnings that are about to come our way. So if we review the past and let Archangel Jeremiah and all of our angels and guides kind of lead us to the next step, those steps according to the big picture and making the plan and taking the next step, then we're going to get to whatever these new beginnings are about. Let's go ahead and take a look at the last card. And the last card is the Eight of Michael. Okay, this is like the Eight of Swords in the traditional tarot. And the Eight of Michael at the bottom says, you can be free, make a courageous choice to change your situation, not seeing things clearly. So the sword suit is the sword of the mind, our thoughts, our ideas, our perceptions. And the 8 can sometimes say that we're disempowering ourselves in some way. The number 8 in numerology is about us being empowered or owning our power. But of course, again, it can be power and control issues and feeling disempowered. The number 8, also in numerology, relates to our career path, life path, destiny path, our own sense of inner authority, and money and finances. So there's something here with fears. You know, the 8 of Michael is saying that on some mental level we're having fears or anxieties about the future, about where we're at right now, or the situations and circumstances we might find ourselves in. But again, it's on this mental body level. And so just as this card says, it says, you can be free. Okay, make a courageous choice to change your situation. And these eclipses, that first eclipse that we had last week, and then, just after, well, I think it's the 20th of June, we'll have a new moon solar eclipse. And then 4th or 5th of July, we'll have the next full moon lunar eclipse. Those eclipses are going to bring a lot of changes and a lot of redirections in our lives. And sometimes it might be startling. Sometimes things might happen all of a sudden that kind of redirects our path, so to speak, that we weren't expecting. So whatever this is all about, free yourself from the fear, free yourself from the anxiety, empower yourself to know that if there is a change that needs to be made, or if there's a change that has been placed upon you in your situation already, stay confident and know that you can empower yourself on this path, take your power back on this path, and move forward with that confidence and that courage to the next step. Right now, as it says, we might not be seeing things clearly. You know, we have Neptune involved a lot this week. Neptune with the Sun, Neptune with Mars. That really does bring some illusion, confusion, and delusion sometimes. So just know that things will sort themselves out as we trust and have faith. So we might not have all the puzzle pieces, we might not have all the answers or understand what's going on. Again, we might not see things clearly, but eventually we'll come to understand what, the universe has in store for us, or why we've been redirected as we have, or whatever as the case may be. So let's go ahead and take a look at the special message card depending on your stone of choice this week. So I'm just taking a deep breath here, just to kind of center and go within. And that first stone was the prehnite. So special message for prehnite people. Special message, special message, special message for prehnite people. Special message for prehnite people. I opened my eyes but did not see anything stand out yet. Okay, this one's calling my attention for prehnite people. Insight, okay? This is about needing some deeper insight. And with all the high energies of the eclipses that's going on, we might be a little bit knocked off our center. We might be lacking in feeling grounded or focused. So in order to receive some deeper insights, we need to be grounded and balanced and focused. And to me, this person looks like they're in some sort of a meditation kind of state. And as you center and ground yourself, maybe you can do this outside, which would be great because the earth helps us to ground. But even inside, you could hold crystals and stones. You could do it as you take a bath, whatever you feel guided to do. Maybe you're just sitting on the floor. But you need to kind of go within, quiet the mind, stabilize the body. And as you do so, the thoughts will come, the guidance will come, the insight will come. But you have to kind of quiet the mind, which is kind of tough to do with all the Gemini energy going on. So do what you can to quiet the mind and balance yourself. Ask your angels and guides for information, messages, answers to whatever questions you might have. And then listen, deeply listen for whatever it is that is being shown to you, said to you. We all receive things different ways. Some of us get pictures, flashes of insight visually. Some of us hear. Maybe we hear messages and we think that we're just kind of saying the messages in our head, which is fine. That could be your higher soul self. It also could be your angels and guides. So listen to the messages that you're receiving, that auditory message. It might not be like me talking to you, but like a voice in your head, or just a sense of knowing, claircognizance, where you just kind of have this aha moment, like, oh, that's it. That's what I need to do or what I need to focus on. So again, we're all receiving messages and insight in different ways. So just honor the ways that you receive your messages. And maybe you receive messages from songs or license plates or billboards or, whatever have you. Whatever that the case may be, allow those messages and that insight to come in when you feel grounded and centered, because that's going to be when it's the most accurate. All right. For those of you that chose the red jasper message, special message for red jasper people. This one's calling my attention for red jasper people. Surrender. Okay, well, I did mention the word surrender with all that Pisces energy with Mars and Neptune in Pisces. So we just need to go into a state of surrender. Again, to try to push through something or make something happen or force a particular decision may not work out so well this week. This is about, again, surrender, faith, and trust, and just kind of giving it up to spirit or the universe. And you can see that in her act of surrendering, in her act of just saying, okay, I have no idea what to do. I have no idea what you want me to do. So you're going to have to give me the answer. You're going to have to show me the way. You're going to have to give me the next step or give me the messages that I'm seeking in order to figure out what that is. And then in that moment of surrender, in that time of surrender, and maybe it'll take, a little while. It doesn't mean it's going to happen right in that moment where you surrender and say these things to the universe. But at some point, if you surrender, you can see this white light shining down from up above and shining onto the crown chakra of her head. And it's giving her those answers, the flashes of insight, the pictures, the thoughts, the ideas that she needs to have. So it's going to be, again, in this time of surrender that you'll receive the messages of guidance. So stay, not just in in one moment and then say, oh, it didn't work, but to stay in this space of surrendering to the changes that are happening and the redirections that might be happening, even the challenges that might be happening. And as you surrender and let go, the universe will gently kind of redirect you, will gently give you the information or the messages or the people or the new circumstances that are best going to help you and give you that kind of flash of knowingness or insight, going back to that word insight, that you need in order to move forward. Okay, so both of these cards kind of have a similar feel where you're kind of in this, centered, grounded, meditative, surrendering mode. Let's see, for the people that chose the agate, special message for agate people for this week. Special message for agate people. Special message. Special message for agate people. Special message for agate people. Okay, this one's calling my attention. It almost looks like it's, I don't know why, there looks like there's a little mark on there for me. All right, and this one, oh my gosh, this one has the same similar feel as the other one. So it's definitely across the board here. Mindfulness. And you can see that, again, we have a candle in the center. We have someone that sort of like a prayer position or meditative position with the two hands coming together, the fingertips touching. They're in this state of mindfulness, centeredness. And, using a candle is a great way to kind of shift your focus. Because if your mind is all over the place and in chaos and not grounded, and there's a million things going through your head, and again with the energies that are happening, it's not a big surprise that it would be. A candle is a great way, because if you kind of dim the lights, you kind of sit down, you light your candle, and you focus on that candle flame, that gives you a place, a focus for your mind to be. Just focusing on how the candlelight dances about. And you can see even in the background here, my beautiful purple crown chakra candle over there. That candle flame is kind of dancing around. And it's even, from my perspective here, it's creating like this kind of this beam of light. I don't know if you can see that in the camera too, but that beam of light is kind of dancing around with the candle flame. So it gives our mind something to focus on. And as we focus in on that candle flame and we focus in through quiet contemplation and meditation, we become more mindful. And again, that kind of empties our mind of what's going on, the busyness of what's going on in the mind, so that we can receive the messages from Spirit, so that we can receive information from our angels and guides. And maybe you're not even seeking necessarily messages or guidance. But if your mind is a little chaotic and you're feeling a little bit anxious because of all of that energy kind of floating around in the mental body, then just doing this practice of mindfulness is just going to help to bring calm and peace and serenity and groundedness overall. But I would suspect that a lot of you may be looking for answers as well. So again, this is a great way. And with all three of these special message cards, I would say too, is have a pad of paper and something to write with handy. Because as you become more mindful, as you surrender, as you meditate to receive insight, you might want to jot down what you're seeing or hearing or feeling or knowing to be true for you, so that it doesn't leave your mind at a later time, so that you remember what was given to you. So yeah, I mean, special messages are all pretty similar there. I hope you are all doing well through at least this first eclipse that we've had, and getting ready for next week's solar eclipse that's coming up. That would be, next week is going to take us from the 15th through the 21st, and that eclipse is, I believe, on the 20th, depending on where in the world you're at. So we're going to have another eclipse coming up, and new moons are about new beginnings. Of course, the lunar eclipse we just had, endings, and then we're going to have another, like I said, early July, another lunar eclipse. So lots of endings, new beginnings, completions and initiations, transformations and redirections and change that are happening for us all right now. And we may not understand the full scope of it all, again, for some weeks to come as the weeks and even months unfold. So I'm sending you all much love and light, lots of healing, love and light to each and every one of you. Thank you so much, everyone, for all of your love and support and care. And I just really appreciate each and every one of you. So sending you lots again of blessings, angel, love and light. And until we meet again next week, namaste.